praise cure.
What just happened? You got Dan and Xander here, and today we're here to talk Season 2, Episode 5 of Severance called Trojan's Horse. Now, I want to talk to Xander about some things before we get into it. So, Mark was a little upset this episode. I finally watched the after the episode thing that you were telling me about, which Apple TV always puts on a different show if you don't click on it. So if you guys don't know about that, you can watch like behind the scenes about the episode. You just have to click on it and fast forward through the credits. Really cool stuff. So they were talking about how Mark, we'll get into it in this video, how Mark was going through it with how he feels about, like he kind of feels betrayed with the whole Heldy thing. You know, they just had sex, any Mark anyway, and he feels totally betrayed, and that's why he was so awkward with her this episode and pushing her away. Did you feel that?
Yeah, it was like at first it kind of annoyed me, and then once I thought about it a little bit, I'm like, man, this situation is just so ridiculous that him reacting like that almost seems appropriate. Just being like, I don't know who I just slept with. I don't know if that was you. I don't know if you're you right now. I don't know who I love, if I'm in love with you or if I'm in love with her. But you're the same person. Dude, it's just such a mind knot that I can't hold it against him for feeling that way, you know?
Yeah. And he even said later on in the episode, he said, I don't know who you are. And she's like, what are you talking about? Of course you do. You know, what's her reaction going to be? Because she was like, I can't believe she stole my body.
She doesn't have the right to take my identity.
And she was so upset about that. When she finds out they had sex, she's going to be like heartbroken, dude.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I just want to talk about this. Kind of a setup episode a little bit. Did you feel that too? It was like a little pause.
Yeah. Less of like a setup and I guess a little bit of setup and more dealing with the ramifications of last episode, which I enjoyed. Even though I really I want that breakneck pace in every episode. Like I just want, oh my God, every episode. It was nice to have an episode that every character is like, oh, what? What is happening right now?
Yeah.
And all the work that they did with Milchick this episode was so good. Such good character work and a lot of depth added to a lot of situations. So it was still good for me.
Yeah, me too. I enjoyed it. And really strong Dylan episode. I think he really shined. Zach Cherry, really good job in this episode. So yeah, let's talk about it. All right. So it starts off, we see the guy, you know, they talked about the guy who comes to O&D to pick up stuff and bring it to the experts hall / testing floor elevator. And he picks up, it was dental equipment, dental tools. That's what you thought it was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's dental stuff.
So what would he need that for?
Building someone's mouth? I don't know. Yeah.
And are we ever going to see the testing floor like this season?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely are. Yeah.
It's like Pandora's box. I can't wait to open that up, dude. I got to see what's in there. It's really freaking me out and intriguing me all at the same time. I need to see what's down there. It's probably like a whole creepy vibe. I assume it's like dark down there. I don't know why. I
feel like it's going to be the opposite. Like the hallway's really dark and you're going to get down there. It's going to be like a huge bright white lab or something.
Oh shit.
You know? Or maybe like a house. Maybe we go down there and it's just a recreation of Kier's house. I could see that.
Oh shit. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Can't wait. What do you guys think? Let us know down below. So then we see Mark. He's taking pills and drinking this weird liquid. I assume it's for the reintegration process. He has to do this type of thing. And he's on the phone with Devin. And then Ragabi shows up and she's kind of living with him, I guess, to make sure he doesn't die. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good way to ensure just 24/7 care, I guess.
Yeah. He even made a comment like, yeah, you don't have to live with me, but she's kind of staying in his basement just like Petey used to. So it's kind of fun to see that. He's wondering if they're on to him. She says it depends on how dumb you played it. And he's like, when do we keep going? Talking about, you know, do some more shit with my brain to make me fully reintegrated because I can't remember anything else. Well, she goes, well, maybe and he has. We get a little bit of that this episode where he's coughing a lot. He has moments where he has really sharp pains and he sees images at the end of the episode. He has like a vision of Miss Casey. So yeah, really cool stuff. I love the editing in that type of scene that they do. And then Helena walks in and she's talking to Drummond and Natalie, and they all decided they're not going to tell her dad that she was almost murdered again.
The medical team says your tempers will rebalance quickly.
So everything should be fine. And he's at 81% as of the last time they checked on Cold Harbor. So you got to go back down there. And we can't fake it this time because he needs you or he's not going to do it. And we need Cold Harbor to be done. And her father, James, is encouraging her going back down. So they're all down. And he says the line,
And the work is mysterious and important.
remember season 1, Mark said the same thing.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love the callbacks. That's really cool. So she heads to the elevator, goes down, then boom, Helly's back. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Helly's back. She sees Miss Wong. Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?
Everyone has the same reaction because she looks like she's 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, follow me. Milchek will explain everything. So the gang is all there waiting outside of Milchek's office. Irv's not there. So then she says, I need to know what's going on. And Dylan jumps in and says, yeah, you're a fucking Egan. That's what's going on. You've been spying on us the whole time. And Milchek confirms this and he says it's called the Glasgow Block. But Dylan's stuck on Irving. He's like, where's Irving? Answer my goddamn question. And Milchek's like, yo, chill a little bit. But yeah, we had to fire him. But his Audi's on a cruise voyage. You know that's bullshit from a mile away. He just lies out of his ass. Remember the bullshit Gazette line later on? It's great. Yeah. So, yeah, they're just lying. But the Irving stuff we do get in this episode, juicy.
Mm-hmm.
It's juicy, dude. So I'm excited for his storyline. It's a kind of upsetting we don't get any Irv anymore because he was a really fun character. And I truly believe that any Irv is done. Do you agree?
No, I'm still under the I'm under the impression that Irving will get reintegrated at some point.
Okay. All right.
So we won't necessarily get any Irv back, but we'll get, a form of it.
Him, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I feel you. So then Milchek says,
Have you ever heard the story of the Glaxschuben?
and Mark's like, let's assume we haven't. So apparently the King of Sweden would go incognito to learn his people's true grievances. And Kier Egan would do the same thing. So Helly was just doing this proud tradition. That's what she was doing. So he's trying to make sense of it. And they all feel betrayed. And Dylan's like, is Irving going to come back? And he says no. And Dylan calls them murderers.
You fucking murderers.
You can't do this to people.
And Milchek says, this went well. Back to work. So yeah, basically, fuck you guys. You got to deal with it. So there's just 3 desks now. They call it a tri-station. And Dylan wants a funeral. So does Helly. Mark says, sure, but as long as it's quick. So he's kind of like really down. Is it all because of Helly?
Yeah, man. I think he's just really messed up from everything that's going on. And I think realizing that the person that he was that close to was undercover and an Egan the whole time, he's just given up hope. He kind of alludes to it later in the episode when he's like, they hear everything, they see everything, they know everything. Like, what is the point?
What's the point?
Like,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He's got a point. So then he goes into the bathroom. Helly follows him in. She's like, you couldn't tell that wasn't me? What was she like? I don't know. She was like you, or you're like her. Or I don't know what the hell is going on. And she goes, what happened to you up there? And he's like, let's just not talk about it. And she, I guess wanted to talk about what she did, which was very brave what Annie Helly did at the end of season 1. And she doesn't get the chance to share that information. So that kind of sucks. I felt bad for Helly this whole episode. Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, she's kind of getting the shit end of the stick. Like,
yeah, it's not her fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing is her fault. She's just kind of, getting tossed around and like woke up being drowned. And then I'm assuming they flipped her back while she was in the forest. And then she wakes up again in the elevator.
Yeah.
Or she literally went from being tackled to being drowned to just like back in the elevator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Must
seriously.
just be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crazy like 5 minutes in her life. Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, shit's crazy, man. So, all right. Then Miss Wong tells Milchek he shouldn't let them have a funeral and makes them feel like people. And she also brings up that he has his first performance review. And I saw in the after credits thing, they wanted to look like Miss Wong is kind of going for his job. I didn't see that in that scene, but I guess I see it now. She was trying to like undermine him, Yeah. Yeah, you see it?
Yeah. As soon as she was like, I also started wondering in that scene where you kind of get the sense that she's just a little harder than him.
Mhm.
Like she's more like carrot than stick. But I was wondering if she is someone else. Is she severed and she is someone else? Or is she a version, like, is she a first attempt at like putting a reconstructed consciousness like back into someone's body or something? Is that why she's so young? There's something going on with her that is definitely more than just we found a quirky kid to put in the show. There's something there.
Yeah, well, they definitely found the right actress. Sarah Bach, I believe her name is.
Yeah, she's
doing
incredible.
a good job. Yeah. It's and she is 18, but she does look like she's 13. So shit's crazy. So the bereavement, the funeral begins. Milchek says you take 9 seconds to silently remember him, right? Thank Kier for our time with him. We get a eulogy from Dylan. It's very nice. He said he put the dick in contradiction. It's nice and funny at the same time. Towards the end, he asked me for help. And, I didn't help him. And he should have told me to suck my own fuck, but he didn't. He wasn't mad at me at all. He was awesome, and I miss him.
He would have been totally justified in telling me to suck my own fuck.
Funny and sad at the same time. Like I said earlier, I think it was a very strong Dylan episode. Great job by Zach Cherry. He really shined this episode, in my opinion. I think it was really good stuff from him. So then they get to briefly partake in Irving's fruit head. And as they're about to do this, Miss Wong was about to start a performance. Did you see her? She was like going to do something.
She hits one note.
Miss Wong.
Yeah, well, what was that? Was she going to sing or something?
No, it's I can't remember what it's called. You can clip it in what the name of the instrument's called.
I was going to perform.
Yes, well, I feel the theremin works best in moderation.
But it's a real instrument in real life where you put your hand above and it changes the frequency of things. I have no idea how it works. It's literally wizardry, but it's a real thing that people play.
Okay.
Also, at what point did you notice the poster?
Oh, pretty late. When Dylan was by himself, I saw it in the back. And I was like, oh, okay, they're going to get to it. They're going to get to it. You noticed it early?
Oh, man, I screamed it out in the middle of the episode. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah. So cool. And Felicia and Jen and Madam Misadventure, they were all talking about that in our Discord. If you want to join our Discord, it's tons of fun. You can talk theories all the live long day. So they were talking about that, and they were super excited that it happened in the episode. And I was like, I couldn't respond because I was so busy at work. But I was like, go you guys. It just felt so good for them. Mark wants to get back to work. Dylan goes, you two catch up?
Did you tell her Miss Casey's your wife yet?
And she's like, what?
Wait, what?
Why won't you talk to me, motherfucker? He's like, it doesn't matter. Like you said earlier, they're smarter. And by the way, Helena, you told them everything that we're doing, so it doesn't matter. She goes, I'm not her, I'm me. How do I know that? Not everything here is a lie. Stop being such a fucking asshole. So, yeah, he was kind of being a little much, especially since they just banged. It's like, I don't know. I think he went a little too far. Do you think so or no?
I think he's dealing with a lot right now.
Yeah.
He was trying to find Miss Casey. He knows that it's his wife, and I'm sure there's some sort of love there because your outie was in love with her, but then you're in love with this person on the inside. They're a fake person. There's just so much.
Yeah,
I feel like
a lot.
He's just gotten to the point where he's like, I'm out. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I just let me exist. I just want to exist. Which, man, I've been there. When you're just like so stacked with life that you're like, okay, I'm done with all things. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. I mean, he did a good job portraying it. That's definitely true. And I wonder how it's going to progress. Helly's not going to give up. She's going to keep trying to talk to him, even though they were at a head. And she watched him leave the office today, or in this episode. I guess that was Audi Helena. So I wonder if she's definitely pregnant. I theorize, and that we theorized in the theory video, which I think is the case. Are you on that side yet?
I don't think so at all.
No. I think it would make things super interesting. I think it would
make it
weird.
too melodramatic.
Okay.
And also, Helena's kind of a cold person. I feel like she'd just be like, get this thing out of me. And that would be the end of it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Theories below. What do you guys think? Is she pregnant? Would she want to keep the kid? Let us know. What do you guys think? Leave it up to you guys. All right. So Natalie is with Milchek, taking him to the performance review, but he stops her and he wants to talk about the paintings. He's like, yeah, I was grateful, but how did you feel when you got yours? We're similar in some ways, but then she's like, Drummond's waiting. We got to go. So what was he trying to get out of her in that moment?
Exactly what he wanted out of her.
Yeah.
Because there's a very subtle pause where they hold eye contact and he's like, how did you feel? What were your feelings about that? And they just kind of hold for a second and they're just communicating with their eyes because she knows she can't say how she felt. He knows that she can't say how she felt because they don't want leverage against each other. They're both kind of in this company where everyone's trying to get after each other and, like Cobell, like being replaced and all that. Like there's so many things going on in this company. I don't think anybody wants to give anyone leverage, but they just had that moment of like, yeah, that was a really weird, awful thing that they just did. And they're like, yep, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's go to the meeting.
Mr. Drummond's waiting.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And Natalie's such a company woman. She is so hardcore Lumen that she would never admit it. So I think you're right that with her eyes and pausing for a moment, that was the answer he needed, right?
Did
So,
you notice too, in his performance review, which we're getting to, there's a moment where he looks to her for reassurance.
Yeah.
Just really quickly. There's like a really quick moment where he's in distress and he looks at her kind of to be like, huh! And she just stone. She's just stone, man.
Yep.
No reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, can't break her. I would love to see her broken in one scene. That'd be crazy because she's always the same. She's always the same. Just cold. Yeah, the board's on the phone. Oh, the board's off the phone now. They're not talking anymore. Like, she's just straight up Lumen, cold, hard bitch. And I love her for it. She's a good character. So real before that, Dylan sees the hang in there poster and he finds the picture of the testing floor elevator. And there's a whole written out note from Irv. I'll put up the image right here so you guys can get as much out of it as you can. It's kind of scrappy, scribbly writing. So get what you can out of it. We'll see. I didn't have a chance to read it, but it's basically a message to Dylan to continue looking for this elevator, right? And he puts it back behind the picture. I guess he doesn't want to get caught with it, but I'm sure he's going to go back for it and work on this, right?
100%.
So that'll be fun to see him do that. And we'll see if he gets caught and then he stops getting to see his wife. We'll see. But I think he's definitely going to try because he feels so bad about Irving's death, his Innie's death. So performance review time. They start with positives and then they say 3 contentions. You use too many big words. And in the after thing, they said it was Miss Wong who reported him for that. Too many big words.
I love that.
Yeah. And you put your paper clips the wrong way. You did it back to front. So that was confusing for us. And then, of course, the Ortbo, which failed miserably, almost got someone killed, got someone fired. So, and your kindness performance, that's not cool either. So you got to get working on that shit. And he seemed to be pretty upset. He was a little hurt.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm sensing a Milchick flip at some point in this show. He's way too cool of a character. I could see at some point him being like, fuck this company. This company sucks. Yeah. Which would be so interesting because he's on the severed floor. He's not severed. He knows so many details and ins and outs and probably knows what project they're working on because he's excited to take credit for it. So it'd be interesting to see him flip sides.
He probably knows all about Gemma too.
Uh-huh.
Like, all the info, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that would be really cool for him to flip.
Seth.
I would love that. That would be really sick. So yeah, they talk about Mark finishing Cold Harbor.
Will be remembered as one of the greatest moments in the history of this planet.
Remember the severed workers' greater purpose, treat them as what they really are. So yeah, this planet. So the alien truthers out there, get your theories in if you think there's aliens involved. We don't think so. But yeah, that's what he said to him. And we see Mark get to 85%. And then he has kind of a moment. I guess it's the reintegration sickness, right? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the reintegration happening.
Yeah. It's slowly happening. Yeah. So then he leaves for the day. Milchick stops him. You left 6 minutes early. And they kind of get into it. He calls the newspaper. He showed him
What was it called again? The Bullshit Gazette?
that I alluded to earlier. And he's like, hey, you catch up with Helly? You tell her you fucked her outie at the Ortbo? Jeez. Rough.
Man, no mincing words, no big words. Just, yo, did you tell her you fucked her outie? It's like,
Did you tell her that you fucked her outie at the Ortbo?
oh,
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Not playing around. Okay, here we go.
No.
Yeah, that was a moment.
Yeah, it was the leader in waiting at this company. She's got some power and you fucked her. You tell her yet? So yeah, that's going to be rough when they have that conversation. So I'm waiting for that to happen. You think we'll get it before the season finale?
I think we'll get it before, probably next episode or the one after, whenever Mark stops being a dick. But also super interesting to know that for sure Helly is the next leader of Lumen.
Helena Egan, leader in waiting of this company.
Because you never really heard that before until now, and that was confirmed. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Mark keeps on coughing, so he's dealing with that. He was coughing throughout the episode. Then we see Rickon. He's working on his Innie book, and Devin's just pissed. She's like, "You're a total sellout, bro. Like, come on. And he's like, what? The innies are supposed to live in structure. I'm trying to speak their language. And he calls the book A Trojan's Horse, the title of the episode. And she says, Lumen hurts people. And you know that. So if you help their propaganda machine, you're hurting people too. But he goes, look, there's a lot of money in this. And I know you're a fan of that. I can't just walk away from it. So I guess she's kind of torn because they will pay the shit out of him for this, probably.
I'm assuming they just paid like full price for every copy. So.
Yeah.
But it's more to have him on the inside. You know, Rickon's so malleable that you could have him on the inside of Mark's family, kind of giving you information without knowing that he's giving you information.
Yeah.
I think it's more about that than it is about his book, obviously.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And then we see that Irving's not on a cruise, of course not. And he's looking at his paintings and he takes them all down and then he goes to the payphone again. One of the most interesting parts of this whole episode. Like I said, very strong Dylan episode, but this scene was probably the coolest. He says, it's me again. They fired me. They might know what my innie was up to. And then he sees Bert's there. So he's like, I got to go. Hangs up the phone. And he goes up to him. He's like, why are you following me? And Bert says, well, when someone shows up to my door screaming my name, I want to know why.
Call it a quirk.
So really funny shit. I mean, Christopher Walken is just like the icing on the cake of the casting of this show. It's just, you can't get better. You really can't
their
get
chemistry. There is no reason that John Turturro and Christopher Walken should have such good chemistry.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make any sense, man. They just work so well together.
It really does. It really does. Yeah. And he goes, I can guess you're severed. Yeah. So I got canned a couple weeks ago. They say my innie had an unsanctioned erotic fling with another worker and they wouldn't tell me who.
Nice to have that confirmed.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know that he got canned. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I was like, oh, thank God. Like you assumed that that's what happened, but it's cool to know for sure.
Yeah. And it's also confirmation of the time span of events, right?
Yeah.
Because he said a couple weeks ago, and that was the end of mid-season 1 towards the end of season 1. So now
I think this season has only been a few days. I think it's been like maybe 10, 12 days this whole season.
Yeah, I mean, if he said a couple weeks ago and that goes back to season 1, then definitely. So that's really
crazy.
Cool to get a timeline there. They wouldn't tell me who, and he's like, do you think we were an item? And he's like, my husband thinks so. Fields, what a name. Yeah. So he's like, look, we got a ham. Come over, sit down, and we'll talk through it all. He says, I suppose so. You like red wine? That's expensive, but yeah, all right. I'll see you tomorrow. Can't wait to see that scene. That's going to be really interesting stuff. Can't wait to see them on the outside together, talking it out.
I suppose. Great.
And maybe we'll get some more information on Irving's, what he's up to in that dinner. You think we'll get any?
You think it's
info at all?
Ragabi?
You think Ragabi is going to be there?
No. Do you think it's Ragabi on the phone?
Oh God. Yeah, I have no idea who he's calling on the phone. Ragabi would be a good bet. I still think there's an outside chance it's Cobell.
Yeah.
I think Ragabi's probably more likely than Cobell. But if it's not one of those two, then it's got to be a character we haven't met yet.
Yeah,
right?
It's going to be someone new for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the case. What do you guys think? Let us know down below. So then we see Mark is home and we see Ragabi is going through Gemma's things. And she's like, look, I got to get some more information, some good information as we prepare for our next go through of this reintegration process. So sorry. And then we see the cremation remains, who I thought was her. Who's in there then? And they know people. And we talked about this in one of our theory videos about them switching out the body. And that's confirmed. That's what they did.
Yep.
She was in a car accident. They switched out the bodies, burned somebody else, basically kidnapped her and took her and are doing whatever they're doing with her. Cold Harbor. That's what they're doing with her. What that is, we kind of know, but we don't really know. So it's really fun to get that answer. Really cool. He coughs again. She says, you feeling all right? By the way, we're going to wait one more day. I don't want to rush this. And then he says, yeah, you've only done this one time. There's a lot of people that have theorized in the comments that she said she had more practice. So she's had to do it more than once, right?
I think so, but I don't know if we're supposed to know that. So maybe they're trying to hide it a little bit from the audience. It felt a little contradictory for him to be like, you've only done this once, and for her to be like, I've got more practice. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. All right. Okay. So the last thing we see, he says, are they hurting her? She says, I don't know. And then he starts hearing Miss Casey in his head. And he's like, did you say something? And then he completely he's going in and out. And then he has a full out vision and he sees her. And the last line she says is this.
Your Audi is going to be
So what is his Audi going to what? Finish the sentence. I want to know. That was sick. Cool cliffhanger.
Yeah, such a good one. I like this episode a lot.
Me too. Yeah, it was good. Which proves they don't all have to be batshit crazy and they can still be entertaining, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like the crazy ones, but it's nice to deal with some of the craziness that's been going on. Because if you pile too much on, you start wondering why no one's freaking out. Like, why everyone's just trucking along, you know?
Exactly. 100%. Yeah, I'm right there with you. All right. Well, if you guys are new here, please subscribe. We make videos every week, and we also do theory videos based off of your comments. So just comment below your best theories, and we can do a theory video this week if we get enough good ones. And we're going to start covering Yellow Jackets Season 3. That video will be out tomorrow at some point. So yeah, if you like that, definitely subscribe too. And thank you guys so much for watching. See you next week. Later.
Peace.
Where is Irving? Yeah, where is he?
I'm so confused.
I know where you live.
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
That just happened.